You know, if you were to ask me what is the most embarrassing book in all the Bible, I think James might just win the chicken dinner. And the reason I say that is because if you've ever read James, you know it gets humiliating quickly. The whole letter is about how Christians talk about and to each other. And over throughout the whole letter, there's words like fuss and quarrel and dispute and slander and murmur and mutter and complain and criticize and judge and on and on and on. I mean, near the get-go, the writer might have been Jesus' half-brother, that James. Grew up with Jesus, heard Jesus all the time, heard a whole lot of things that we'll never hear about Jesus. And he says, y'all need to be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to become angry. Doesn't matter what the words are, what you heard. You need to be slow to become angry. And quit thinking about what you're going to say in reply while somebody else is still talking. You need to be slow to speak. What you really need to do is love them enough to give them enough respect to give them a fair hearing. Listen to what they're saying. Do you love them enough to do that? I don't know about you, but that's really embarrassing. I mean, do Christians have to be reminded of that? I'll tell you straight up, what's most embarrassing is I have to be reminded of that. It's humiliating that I have to go back and it's like the coach showing the football team, this is a football. Like I forgot the most basic of basic things, that my speech reveals my heart, that I'm made in the image of God. And when God speaks, the things that are right happen. And so if I bear His reflection, then buddy, when I speak, it needs to be like the words of the Lord Himself. It needs to be the right thing, not anything that's even remotely shadowy or dark or doubtful or dangerous. You know, the whole letter's about that. Embarrassing things like two people showing up at church and one's really got it and one doesn't have much of nothing. And you know how it goes, you've seen it. The one that's well healed and got the stuff gets treated well, and the one that doesn't have so much, not so much. And maybe you can sit on the back seat. Don't even get welcomed back. Or like chapter 3. Oh yeah, praise God, that's fresh water. And then the way they talk about their brothers and sisters, the way they talk about their fellow church members, it's like polluted water, it's like salt water, it's just undrinkable. It'll kill you if you drink it. Or like in chapter 4, it talks about people being judges over other brothers and sisters. Like the way they talk about people just reveals that they're measuring and sizing people up. It's like they make themselves bigger by cutting somebody else down. And they do it in such a passive-aggressive fashion that they can give some plausible denial that, oh, that's not really what I meant. When anybody with one eye and half sense can say, that is exactly what you meant. Or in chapter 5, when James says, don't grumble about each other. Man, that's embarrassing. You mean Christians have to be reminded not to mutter and murmur and complain and grumble about each other? You mean getting along with other Christians can be hard? You mean church life isn't all roses? You mean it's got thorns and it grows in fertilizer? Yeah, that's embarrassing. We all got clay feet and we all got clay tongues. We're a mile from perfection and we'll never get there. Saddest part of it is a lot of us don't even seem to be trying at all anymore. We're just running on autopilot. We're the same way we were 40 years ago. Hadn't grown up a lick. Hadn't made any advance or progress. And what we do with this thing right here, a little pinch between cheek and gum, our tongue. You know, I guess the more I think about it, James isn't so much embarrassing as it's a letter sent from God. These Christian people, they'll keep something like this in their Bible. They're willing to address straight up embarrassing issues like this, straight out in the open, real candid and clear. These people must be serious about what they're talking about here. Maybe some of them's got a chance. Maybe this church thing isn't all a bunch of junk. Maybe their people really are looking for God here. Some of them anyway. Maybe some of them really are trying to grow. You know, it's not me to measure everybody. Maybe I just need to look in the mirror at what I'm really like. Maybe I need to listen to the way I speak. All those prayers I prayed with regrets in my heart when I lay my head on my pillow at night, maybe I need to remember those. Lord, give me wisdom so I don't talk the way I did today, so I'll talk better about other people tomorrow. Please give me another morrow and some wisdom so I can walk that way. You know, if I expect God to hear my words when I pray like that, I need to expect better of the way I talk about other people because they're made in His image. And if I'm going to be a part of a group of people that claim to be Christ's church, I'm going to try to help other people talk right too. Maybe sometimes I need to be just as straight up as James is. My dear brother, my dear sister, that's not the way it ought to be. Lord, I pray You'll grow me some courage. Courage to stay on the journey with a lot of imperfect people and myself with a capital I of imperfection. Don't let me ever give up on You, God, or Your people because of the way Your people talk about each other. Instead, may Your people get better about the way they talk about each other because they love You, and so they'll love people. Grace and peace be with you.